I feel like Volskaya is like just generally the less pleasant climate. I don't know actually. Like if
you know what, I like the Earth, so I'm gonna say Horizon's still the less
Personally, I think I'd dislike Temple of Anubis more if I actually went there. I prefer the cold to the heat because it's like you can always you can always put on more layers, but like you can't. There's a limit to how many layers you can take out. Like once you're naked, that's it.
Well, I want to see some more layers to the depth of Nova's esports strategies here.
Nice segue.
I want to see the Orisa Junkrat. Take a good look.
Look at that! Look at that trap. No one's taking.
And here's the thing that I do want to point out something clever up. The trap is on the bottom and the mine is on the top. So if you're targeting the trap, you're not going to kill the mine at the same time. It's a small thing there.
And they've killed the trap. They spotted it out, but the mine might still catch him. Macau fails the jump. Wraps around the other side. Just taking their time on the setup here is Hong Kong Attitude.
But it's a good setup in terms of a flank. They need to get Shailin into a good setup position as well. Then both the DPSs as well as the tanks can land onto their targets appropriately. Blue's already forced them to the ground. That's not ideal for a Widowmaker.
Yeah, it's because Macau being on the ground forces them into that situation. And they were just waiting, getting ready for that. Put the situation up that Macau can stand on the point while Shailin dives onto Nova as they pull back onto the point. And now you just kind of see that in full effect. Hong Kong Attitude are cleaning up a disarrayed Nova.
And a Ting, the only one that goes down is the passive as well, the total mayhem there. A little bit embarrassing, but you'll take it regardless. That last kill onto Blue kind of hurts. 10-10 picking that one up through all the chaos. So for Hong Kong Attitude, should be getting a bit of a lead here. Ting is so ready to get into this B offense.
He's just waiting. He's like, I will do it. I will jump right now, so help me. Taking a bit of patience though, regrouping with the team, and they've got the ultimates to back this up. Dragon Blade straight in, no hesitation, stunned and punched in the face. One already making this defense happen, and Hong Kong Attitude, they know when they're beat. They're in full retreat now. Question is, can Nova pick off more because they want to get more. Going in on the dive, finding CQB and Mango Jai. Pretty nice pulse bomb out from Macau.
I think he's swapping.
Yeah, he must be, surely.
Otherwise, that is a gross misuse of a pulse bomb, I said, and it's going to be the Sombra Hero Zone. And the interesting thing about this composition is
Season 1.
The Sombra actually, but the thing is, the Sombra makes sense when you consider the counterplay of offered. If you hack one on the Doomfist, lights out. He can't do anything. If you hack Oyo, similarly on the Brigida, again, just doesn't do anything. So the Sombra, pretty decent pick if you can pull it off.
Speaking of Brigida, Oyo able to get that rally up in time means they all get that temporary hit points, that extra armor on top of it all.
Could be permanent if they live.
Yeah, exactly. And Macau is a long way away from any kind of EMP here as they go ahead and dive on in. Macau's already been picked off. A Ting trying to do the frontline work. He's staying alive for quite a while, but they're not really getting kills. Rez on Macau gives them legs in the fight, and they pop Oyo one. Having to pull back a little as Nexus goes down, trying to find Macau is a fool's errand as he translocates away. Blue does trade one back, but Hong Kong Attitude had the upper hand here. Shiki self-destructing on the point. It forces Hong Kong Attitude off. They get some space, but Shiki's not going to be able to remech. Hong Kong Attitude had the upper hand here.
And they also have a quickly charging EMP. This fight has lasted long enough that we are likely to see the EMP come to play. If it drops down on enough members, it is going to be a point completion likely for Hong Kong Attitude. Their members are still alive. Here come the tanks, and the EMP drops on top of them.
The Coalescence is doing a lot of work though. Shailin, with that Death Blossom, has at least kept enough members down, but they lose a Ting. CQB finding it hard to res him, unfortunately, able to get into position now that Nexus's Primal Rage has long since expired. Oyo gets drilled down again for a second time, just shy of a rally, and Crazies has stayed alive for a while, but he's stuck off to the side of the point. He can't really do much by himself.
Kills.
Yeah, exactly. They're keeping these tanks down constantly. Even one, as he dives in, isn't finding catches before going down. Mango with his Coalescence. Valkyrie out from CQB. It's starting to feel like it's only a matter of time for Hong Kong Attitude. Nova just two split up to stabilize here, getting killed off one by one, and not enough time to regroup for a full 6.
Shailin as well, shutting down one and so consistently. Both of the kills that one, or rather both the deaths that one has had recently have both come from Shailin. I gotta say as well, I'm really enjoying thematically all of these talented heroes coming out into play. Sombra against the Doomfist, against the Reaper, Widowmaker from earlier as well. Yeah, it's just really fantastic stuff, but you got to really credit Hong Kong Attitude coming in here. When you saw the initial engagement, first of all, they did lose. Shailin with a Dragon Blade got shut down immediately. A Ting dies before Primal Rage is available. But come that second offense onto B, what you do manage to have is a push where realistically Hong Kong Attitude are not expecting to realistically win. They want to charge ultimates. They want to specifically charge the EMP. If they can do that and they get themselves out of there and push again for push number 3, they'll be happy. Engage with the EMP for push number 3. They get so much better than that. They manage to charge it while they're in the middle of that second attempt. So huge, and they finish it off that.
The slipperiness of Macau on that Sombra was so instrumental as well. Like I said, the number of times you saw him leading, you know, players like One, players like Nexus on kind of a wild goose chase because they recognized they had to shut down the Sombra. Indeed, they even shut down the Sombra right out the gate, but it got res back in. So look, Nova did identify it well, but Hong Kong Attitude again, just out executing.
I also want to say, and I didn't mention the Moira was also in there as the talent heroes, but all of them are just so slippery. Yeah. Between, I mean, you think about it, Widowmaker grapples away, Doomfist has so many movement abilities, Sombra just goes invisible. You have a Moira that kind of just fades out of there, Reaper fades out of there as well.
It's kind of thematically interesting.
It's great.
That all the Talon heroes, like you said, are so slippery because they're able to slip out of your talons.
You know, it's a stretch, but you can have it.
Yeah, all right. That's a real, like, wah, wah, wah. Anyway, out the gates now. Hong Kong Attitude on the defense. Macau sat up on this high ground. A little bit more stock standard, just running a Junkrat and Orisa. I'm going to just throw out the spam damage here. Nova, full dive, so wrapping around this high ground. I'll have to handle my dulcet tones for just a moment while we get AVRL back in action. He's had a stroke, but he'll be fine. Hong Kong Attitude.
And a recover from the stroke just this quickly.
Miraculous. Don't look any different. Now the dive in from Nova. They've started to get onto this high ground, started to pressure the points, and no casualties just yet. That's really what they're after. Hong Kong Attitude are going to have to come down here and fight them. If they wait any much longer, they're going to have no point left to fight over. Last third already ticking up. Hong Kong Attitude are leaving this to the last minute. And now that they finally commit, 10-10 is already dematched and out of the picture. Good wraparound on Mango Giant. Hong Kong Attitude have no leg to stand on in this fight.
Just not quick enough there as Shailin dying just as that tire comes up. Imagine a scenario where Hong Kong Attitude 10-10 and Ting stay alive for just a little bit longer. Shailin gets that tire into there, throws it down, picks up a couple of kills. That's still a defendable position for Hong Kong Attitude. Now we're already on to B. Nova are on a one attempt push, and this tire has to be money.
Can you say snowball? They've already got 1/3 as well. This tire doesn't get anything done aside from D-Mech Shiki. Maybe it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be the blade to try and turn it around. They at least finish off Shiki. That's all they've got so far. You're right, it's a start, but he is resable. Trendsetters has run out though for Oyo, and Macau is going to find the angle on him. Hong Kong Attitude off that will be able to stabilize, but not before giving up that third, and there's still just over 6 minutes on the clock. Nova can very comfortably play for thirds here.
We'll see how Nova approach this because, mind you, Hong Kong Attitude on their second attempt to B, which is what this push for Nova would be currently now, they managed to get it through in that one attempt. So for Nova Esports, what are we going to get done here? A couple of swaps as well. 2 tank ultimates still available for Hong Kong Attitude. Some moments to reset themselves, some moments to readdress this defense and reanalyze what Nova Esports is going to do. And it appears they're going to take the flank inside the dark room on the left.
The dark room sounds like a Stephen King novel. Blue gets an early catch on Shailin. That's big open for, yeah, it's a big opening for Nova, though. That's what's really going on here. And much like a Stephen King horror unfolding in front of their eyes, Hong Kong Attitude are so heavily on the back foot here. 10-10, fresh out of the mech here, thanks to Shiki self-destruct as they drill down a Ting. If he can get Primal Rage off, just in the nick of time. But One does sock one to Macau. They've got a second, third in among with that chaos anyway. And Hong Kong Attitude still on the back foot, not really getting trades. 10-10 again out of the mech. Gonna go down here as One is just keeping a lid on all of these respawners. CQB, sure he's alive, but he can't get to the points. That means it goes over the way of Nova. So you're right, on that second push, they were able to do it, and they've got a whole minute and 10 seconds more. Well, I guess a minute and 6 seconds, but potato, potato.
And One just had such huge impact there as well. When you see,
a minute and 16.
When you see him put CQB up against the railings there, it's like a boxing fight with the guys in the corner and you're railing into him. Runs out of ammo, so he's waiting there to reload his
waiting to recharge his fist. Imagine if Muhammad Ali was like that. He's like, hold on, I need to recharge my fist.
And CQB's there with the pistol out like, oh, I'm not living through this, am I? I'll go attitude, just
you know you're dead. I guess I'll just wait.
The issue now is that for Hong Kong Attitude, as good as their initial push was, still did take 4 minutes and 9 seconds overall for Nova Esports. I mean, it's a very impressive time. They did just that much better, and a lot of what they did better ultimately came down to the fact that that second attempt for them was about 1 respawn wave's worth of time for Hong Kong Attitude. They maybe got a few members back in there. When you look at Hong Kong Attitude's attempt on that B point, Nova Esports had many waves of respawns. So much so that Macau got nearly 2 EMPs, so Hong Kong Attitude certainly took their time, but they did get it. Nova just got it better.
That's the thing, it's the snowball there. Hong Kong Attitude, they took a bit too long defending point A, and by the time they did, it was too late. And it ended up screwing their B defense too. So, Hong Kong Attitude, they get to attack first here. When the time comes to defend, they do need to address all those things.
It's also addressed the fact that Hong Kong Attitude had such a better time bank than Nova Esports on King's Row. We are in time bank again, so how Hong Kong Attitude approaches the scenario will be very telling about how this time bank is going to go, and so far they take a slow approach, waiting for the setup. They don't want to wait too long because, again, they have a time disadvantage.
Yeah, they took a slow approach on the setup the first time around as well. Difference is, by this point then, Macau is at least in position. They're only just sending him out now. Taking a lot of time to decide what they want to do, but there's the dive. Big up onto this ledge. They do force Nova back. No kills either way just yet. Nova can just pull back to their second position.
Very respectable disengage there by Nova as well, just kind of respecting the kind of approach that Hong Kong Attitude have, and they're rewarded with a kill, right? Because as soon as Hong Kong Attitude dived in, Nova Esports gave up the space but maintained threat levels. They had the range to work with, and they collected the kill. And they get more kills.
Yeah, this is rough. Hong Kong Attitude looking to wrap around on the dive, but Nova are just handling it as it comes very nicely. Now this is getting staggered out. 10-10 if he loses his mech. Now he's going to get topped off. He's going to be just fine, but it's still a lot of time lost.
We're at the kind of stage now where for Hong Kong Attitude, even if they get, and we're expecting them to actually get this A point, they're going to get an extra 30 seconds onto the clock, so we're not expecting a lot of progress onto B. And that is, again, assuming that they are going to get this A point, which is starting to look a little bit difficult.
They need to get like a, you know, full-on one fell swoop kind of situation if they do get onto B, but as Macau goes down to a mine.
One gets one fell scoop.
Yeah, one fell nope. Shaolin, like an owl, like Batman. Gets found out though.
Retreats back to his cave.
Where's Perch? I don't know. Hong Kong Attitude finally starting to get...
Oh, that hurts.
But yeah, that hurts a lot. One's got a Riptire as well. It's just going to, yeah, stop this one completely up. Going to be able to pop a ting, and that's only one, but it's more than enough. That's a Valkyrie that CQB is just getting no value out of either. The Hong Kong Attitude are making no headway here.
Yeah, I'm managing to get some ultimates coming up online. The Valkyrie may be gone, but the others are coming up. And for Nova Esports, we've seen the tire being used already. So we have to now rely on some of these other defensive options for Nova Esports to sort of turn the tide here. Hong Kong Attitude, you'd expect with a Blade coming up, with a Primal Rage coming up, even a Pulse Bomb and a Trance, they should be looking to win this fight finally.
I mean, surely, right? If Shaolin can't do it here, then he's never going to be able to do it at all. They jump onto the high ground. No kills just yet. Self-destruct in from Sheik. He keeps them all at bay for a moment. Shaolin, yeah, his ultimate's run out. Meanwhile, Mango Jai's been picked. Now it's a Ting trying to hold down the fort as 10-10 looking for a self-destruct. Gonna get back in the mech now. No gain from it. They do at least get rid of the supercharger, but again, they're still making no headway here. Nova, they look almost untouched.
The rally did come out. Note the rally armor is still on a majority of members here. Shaolin going down again, not in a very good place to be resurrected. With the Macau down, you can only get one of them up at best. Hong Kong Attitude, less than 30 seconds remaining. Nova Esports don't even need to wait for respawns. If Hong Kong Attitude at least got some favorable trades, they can rely on respawn advantages, but they can't even do that right now.
Macau on the Widowmaker, I was just about to say, you'd think at least, CQB dies as he's on the flyby with the Valkyrie. I was going to say, if they'd at least had a Widowmaker up till now, if they're going to take this much time with a Widowmaker, they could have maybe had some picks, get a numbers advantage or something. No way!
Boy.
Too busy on the high ground to go to the point, relied on the tanks to get there, but they didn't get there in time. That's a full hold on A, and this is how comebacks are created. Nova have set the scene for themselves, surviving the whole nearly 4 minutes there. 3:51, it might as well be 4 minutes, and they've got 5 minutes of their own. That's more time than you'd normally get to only cap a third.
And I gotta say, we kind of gave Hong Kong Attitude a free pass for their
bad behavior.
Bad behavior on their C attack.
Very naughty.
Stepped off the cart the time it went to 0. This time around, I think there's no free passes. That one was a lot more avoidable. They had to know the stakes. They had to get back onto the point. They had to play for the overtime. They may not have won it, but they would have given themselves an opportunity. Going into this map from halftime in the pre-game, we chatted about the fact that for Nova Esports to make this comeback, to get maps on the board, they would have to step up themselves. They would also need to see some bigger mistakes out of Hong Kong Attitude that are definitely punishable. And I think we've ticked those boxes. Currently, this is the scenario we're in.
Well, I mean, they have been punished, which means, luckily for them, they don't have to spend any time on the naughty stare. How old are Hong Kong Attitude? Because that would be a lot of minutes spent there. I got put on the naughty stare once at the age of 19. Longest naughty stare ever.
Oof.
Because when you're like 5 years old,
got punished for your Hong Kong attitude.
When you're getting sick of your Hong Kong attitude. It's like when you're 5 minutes is an eternity. But it really stings when you're like 20 and you're getting put on the naughty stare.
Who's putting you there? This is
my parents, because I still listen to them when they tell me to do things. It's a big mistake. That's why I moved out of home.
And then, in order to try and save some face for here, we're going to go back to Overwatch.
See, I don't have any stairs in my house now, so I'm safe. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Overwatch.
Bad start so far for not awful. They didn't lose any members here. They're not
got time.
Giving away a ton of free ult charge onto the other side, but one getting stuck into a trap. Not ideal. Now to deal with Macau, which is again not something they can realistically do well until one can dive on him.
And he can't when he dives to Shaolin. Raise on Oyo, but
it's caught in a trap again. I mean, he's done that twice.
There's no point in raising Oyo there anyway. I mean, Nexus getting pressured is one thing, but I mean, one was already dead. Like, what's that raise ever going to buy you?
Not a lot. Get a refund. And for Nova Esports now, going to the 4-minute mark. I will note now that the advantage that they did have, or the 1 minute something advantage, is now completely dissipated. They're now starting effectively at the same time that Hong Kong Attitude started on their own time bank. And if it's possible for Nova Esports to full hold, it is possible for Hong Kong Attitude as well, especially if Macau's hitting shots like that.
Yeah. And that. Oh, jeez. I mean, I thought Hong Kong Attitude were floundering on the attack. Nova, they're not even, I mean, what's even worse than floundering? I don't know.
I'll tell you that. I mean,
got two eyes on the same side of their head. What's up with that?
Talon versus New Paradigm. Both teams sucked at defending. Nova versus Hong Kong Attitude. Apparently both teams suck at attacking. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I like how it's not even the game happening. He still had to play. I got to rip
for how bad yesterday was. But Hong Kong Attitude, again, a false start from Nova.
Enjoy the low blows.
Yeah, I mean, it happened to Hong Kong Attitude with the tire kind of stopping them up. So it's kind of nice to dish back Nova a taste of their own medicine, but half of Nova's time already gone.
I gotta say though, Hong Kong Attitude, they only need to make one mistake, and this could be that one mistake.
One gets one, and that's definitely going to be enough. It could be one and done from that. He does go down, self-destruct in from 10-10. They've got the closer respawns here. Nova. Yeah, Crazy's down, but Nexus has popped Macau. Mango Jai, because he wasn't able to pop that Transcendence out, they're trying to raise him up now, I believe. I don't know if they completed that channel, so Mango Jai is going to have to take the long walk, or indeed the long hover, back to the point. Don't think he's even going to be able to get there in time. It's just CQB putting up some token defense, and Nova going to turn one around, take one back, rather. You'd be happy to have it. Unsurprised, rather surprising as it may have been. But hey, they had the time. They had the whole 5 minutes. For all the false starts they had, at least they were able to make it happen where Hong Kong Attitude failed.
And that's why I said for Hong Kong Attitude, it only takes one mistake for them to lose this map, because with one tick available on the board for Nova Esports to camp out, if anything bad happens, if there's any imperfections in the defense for Hong Kong Attitude, that's it. That one tick is so quickly gone.
And that's their own fault. That's the thing. It's their own fault for not making any progress on their own attack. 3 minutes and 50 seconds should have been plenty of time for them to do it. When you consider that they were able to fully cap out in really 2 pushes. Well, I suppose you could argue 3 because of the non-snowball, but you can also consider that kind of a continuation of the point A cap in itself. The fact that Nova were able to do something comparable, they were able to do it faster and better, and then their own defense was better than Hong Kong Attitude's. I mean, what about that doesn't say Nova deserved the win, right? Because they did. They deserved it through and through. Question is, where was that in the last 2 maps? And can they now pull it again on the next one?
Well, the thing is, what wasn't there is we didn't see some big blunders at a Hong Kong Attitude on Lijiang or Kings Row. We saw some blunders, and one of those was, you know, again, the very silly mistake on the overtime when everyone just hopped off the card and the time went to 0. But that's excusable because they basically won by then. I mean, that was already an insurmountable lead. But here on Anubis, by just not getting any progress within 3 minutes and 51, that is as good as a proper full A hold, a proper 4-minute full A hold. 9-second difference. You'll say the 9 seconds doesn't really even qualify there. It's 9 seconds of waiting. Even a lot of teams will have that. So Hong Kong Attitude, for a team that had a reasonably good attack the first time around, gave themselves a very competitive time bank. To not even get A at all is the blunder that Nova needed to then punish to get themselves a win.
And it's so bizarre because you look at the last time bank we had on Kings Row, where they had less than half of the time that Nova had and nearly capped out. Again, yeah, sure, there was a blunder there, but like that's the very forgivable kind because they won the map anyway. But I mean, what a stark difference there in the time banks. At any rate, let's move on forward, wrap it all up, put it in a bundle, leave it in the past.
And send it to America.
Send it to America. Route 66.
Delivery on Route 66. And the thing here is, I am starting to see a little bit of consistency between the match beforehand. And that is that it was Temple of Anubis and Assault that CAG lost as well. But it's also in the manner of which as well. And we have to consider that when the payload maps come into effect, CAG were much better. I'd like to expect that potentially Hong Kong Attitude may just be that much better on the payload maps compared to the Assault. That's where we're seeing a lot of these quote-unquote upsets, and I would consider that map loss a potential upset here. Not a complete upset because Nova would have to win the whole match, but Hong Kong Attitude are certainly not going to get that perfect start to the season with a first-place lead. They're going to get their first equal lead, but it's not just them there.
Well, and they may not get that because if
they don't win.
Yeah, if this is a 3-2 or worse, a loss, they don't get that start at all. So it's already kind of not going to happen. They get that tie. It's still something, but they still have the hardest matches coming up, right? Like they do still have to come up against Cyclops Athlete Gaming and Blank as well. So there's the world in which they actually lose both of those. So good start notwithstanding, they actually end up in 3rd or worse. They then go ahead and
which is why this match is so important.
Exactly that. I mean, we said it right from the start, but now that we're in the situation where they can't get that 4-0, it starts to enter a kind of danger zone. It's only mild danger, but it is still a danger zone because it means they can't get a hot start that they can turn into a sort of winning streak almost. Like I said, there was a world in which they get the 4-0, they beat Blank later on down the line, they go through in a high enough seed that they are clear from their rivals and can maybe even make it all the way into the finals where they've failed in the past. It's less likely now. It's not off the table, but it's a lot less likely now.
I want to say as well, getting 4th in this group, while that would qualify you into the playoffs and save you from relegation, and that's certainly something that you do want, unfortunately that would also mean, expectedly, and I think we can predict at this rate as well, in the playoffs you'd be facing up against most likely EXL Esports.
And if not, Monster Shield.
And both of those right now, I would say, looking like very dangerous teams that no one in Group B really wants to go up against in the opening playoff.
You don't want to be their first victim.
It's kind of like, you know, it's the same as Season 1, right? You don't want to finish 4th. If you're going to finish, if you're playoffs caliber teams, you don't want to be number 4 because then you go up against Genetic Korea first and foremost, and that doesn't usually bode well. So Nova Esports now, Hong Kong Attitude, Route 66 map number 4. Does the comeback start coming in for Nova Esports? Or can Hong Kong Attitude actually close the door right now?
What a view out of Route 66. They call it Route 66, but it's just sort of a loose amalgamation of Grand Canyon-esque What's the area? What's that? Monument Valley. That's what it is. Monument Valley is what it looks like. Don't even know if Route 666 goes through there. As Blue gets the headshot in Macau. Gonna get res back up. Hong Kong Attitude. Need to crack big Earls here. I also don't believe there is a big Earls in either Monument Valley or Route 66. I'd like to be wrong though. I'd like to meet a big Earl that owns a gas station. Ouch.
Macau, second time he's gone down. Our first time was to Blue, this time to Oyo. And Oyo spent a lot of time getting picked first in previous maps, so he's quite happy to be the one on the giving end of that, I suppose.
Evidently, Macau didn't get his fill at the Panorama Diner because he's eating a lot of bullets to the face.
And by the way, Blue sitting at nearly 80%, 78% onto the charge. Macau 22. Between these guys, they have 100, but...
I was just about to say, I mean, we complimented Macau's Widow play so much in the first two maps, but, I mean, hey, he's made it pay off now. He's kind of redeemed himself.
Warming up.
Yeah, he's redeemed himself a little with that catch, and now Shaolin, speaking of warming up, is starting to get hot and indeed on fire. Just a few moments coming up on the ultimate, but they might not even need it here. They've just kind of, you know, silently cracked Nova.
The other thing is, it's been kind of silent because Nova also haven't done that much. Yes, they killed Macau a decent couple times, but the card's been moving. They haven't had objective pressure. Blue now is still managing to find picks, but this is the first time that Nova are seriously contesting the card objective.
Oyo gets another one on Macau. They don't even need Blue to get the headshots on him. Shailin's going to try and answer back here, and they did get a res in on Mango Jai, but Oyo can keep them relatively safe. Catch on Crazies as he was raising up Blue, so Blue's going to really have to make this pay off. Mango Jai in the nick of time as one was just a fraction of a second away from finishing him off. And Hong Kong Attitude have actually started to rally and respawn onto this one despite a good start. Nova didn't actually solidify this defense. They're going to lose point A.
While Macau was dying, and I want to commend Oyo for this as well because he's contributing, the fact that Oyo picked up kills means he gets a quick transcendence. Problem is, Shaolin is being the clutch player while Macau is dying, and Shaolin currently does not care about transcendence. During the transcendence, he pulls out a Dragon Blade, gets himself a string of kills anyway, and for Hong Kong Attitude, just don't really seem to have been stopped up.
That's the thing, it's creating opportunities. That's what Hong Kong Attitude have been doing well, and they're already coming up on another Dragon Blade. Plus they get that Infraside as well, so Charlotte knows exactly where to go and what to look for.
Man, I feel bad for Macau.
Dude can't catch a break. Good dive from Nexus though, credit where credit's due, and he continues the dive now, but in too deep. Like that Sum 41 song. And now this is where Hong Kong Attitude can try and get aggressive. Like we said, creating opportunities with that damage on. Finds Blue, looks for the reset, trying to get Oyo, does find him, and that's plenty enough for Hong Kong Attitude to keep the cart going.
And once again, we're seeing a very similar trend here. Macau gets shut down, but while that's happening, no one's looking at Shaolin, and he is cleaning up house. Nova Esports, they're just dying to him. The cart's still moving. The cart has not been stopped. The cart is about to finish this B push. Hong Kong Attitude have just been on the slow and steady roll through this entire Route 66 map. And you gotta wonder, for Nova Esports Primal Rage available, can they actually stop the cart now?
10-10 barely getting back in the mech. That window's closed, and Oyo has to use the Transcendence just to not die to a Ting. Speaking of die and a Ting, guess what just happened? Hong Kong Attitude slowly getting beaten back here if they're not careful. 10-10 will have to self-destruct to reset this mech, and it may pay off. A Ting has been raised. They've got the numbers here because Crazies was the casualty on Nova's side, which means no res is available as Oyo and Blue fall. Nexus as well, and Hong Kong Attitude, even when Nova are getting picks, they're not turning it into anything. Hong Kong Attitude are just kind of hitting back 10 times as hard.
But this is what's been happening the entire Route 66 map so far. The only difference is instead of Macau being the first one to die, it's a Ting. But the rest of the results still remain consistent, which is to say, one member of Hong Kong Attitude will go down, but then all of Nova Esports will lose the fight regardless of the cart. Now finishing its B progression goes into the C point. Still waiting for the stabilization for Nova Esports, and it's taking a long time.
Shaolin now up on another Dragon Blade already. Hong Kong Attitude, just even the momentum they've had in terms of ultimates, that's to say nothing of the card itself, has been phenomenal.
Tanks.
Yeah, no tanks at all. Shiki out of the mech. Sure, he's not dead, but he might as well be for all the help he's going to do.
Yeah, he's
gets back in it pretty quickly. Nexus will respawn, but it's created more space for the cart. Now Hong Kong Attitude on final approach.
We've seen a lot of kills come out of Shaolin's Blade so far, and you should expect this one might not be any different.
doesn't get anything.
That's different.
Yep, very different. But they pop Oyo and Crazies. The amazing thing, though, is Nova have been able to stabilize by at least getting rid of CQB. They're still in a tenor situation. Nexus needs a Primal Rage, doesn't get it in time, and Mango Jai into rescue with that Transcendence. They're still waiting on CQB, but that's fine. They've got the cart still moving. It's still on Nova to answer, and they don't have a full 6 yet. They're still trickling in.
And I gotta say, Nova are doing a great job of starting these fights, finding these kills, but it's always Hong Kong Attitude finishing it. They want to finish the map right now. A self-destruct to maybe get something done here. 1010 gets the remake as well.
CQB as well with that Valkyrie keeping everyone topped off now that that Transcendence has ended from Mango Jai. Just still getting the picks on through. Hong Kong Attitude, they have far too much control over this for Nova to really get their way in.
Now uncontested.
Yeah, Transcendence does keep Nexus alive a little longer, but the fact that it wasn't even long enough for everyone to respawn or indeed to get kills while it was running just goes to show what's going wrong for Nova as 1010 self-destruct can reset the mech. A ting does go down, but Hong Kong Attitude, they still have control here of this situation, of this point, and another blade for Shylin could well be the final one to seal the deal. Last nail in the coffin. No, one finds him, shuts him down, and at the 11th hour, they have just barely repelled Hong Kong Attitude.
And one into Doomfist, this is what they kind of needed. They need a lot more kill pressure, which is what they are getting. Shylin runs amok with the blade, not this time, and not the last time, admittedly, either. But one shutting him down so important, this is now going to finally force Hong Kong Attitude to fully reset, maybe change up the composition a little bit. Both damage players, Macau and Shylin, going to swap onto Tracer and to McCree. Everyone else, though, looking pretty so far. 3 ultimates into the bank, still advantageous over Nova Esports. Nova are not out of hot water yet.
I like what they're running here, though, Nova. But again, Transcendence from Mango Jai. He only just used one in the last fight. Self-destruct in from 1010 as well to get Hong Kong Attitude out into this payload situation. Give them room to breathe. Tanks diving, but they need to pay attention to the cart still. They have gone back down onto it to finish off a ting, make him go to the grave alongside Mango Jai, closing out on 1010 as well. They have again stabilized, and now the clock looking lean for Hong Kong Attitude.
Hong Kong Attitude maybe shouldn't have chosen this narrow corridor section, small enclosed room to engage there. Very good for a player like wanting the Doomfist to engage into. Very poor for a player like Macau to get good sight angle. So approach from the main section, and Hong Kong Attitude, like you said, not enough time realistically, but they are coming up on some ultimates. This could make the difference.
Just looking for a way in now. Deadeye available for Macau. They've got the tools here. Good dive, but Flashbang rolls back.
That works.
Fine. Buffeted back onto the high ground, saves his life as Shylin destroys the backline of Nova. And now it could be over for Nova. Self-destruct up in the air, but Macau, he gets the damage out before going and ducking and hiding from it. Nexus swinging his arms miles away from the payload as Hong Kong Attitude roll it over the finish line.
There was some difficulty there towards the air, but on Route 66 we often see teams not complete this map. That C point is so difficult to achieve for a lot of attacking teams, and we should expect that unless Nova Esports have a monumental time to work with heading into the C point, they'll suffer a similar fate. They might not complete this map. The A and B points were reasonably good for Hong Kong Attitude, and Nova need that kind of progress. They need that kind of early start to finish the map.
And I'm reminded again of Kings Row. Hong Kong Attitude getting a great attack, being largely unstopped for the majority of it until, you know, towards the end on point C, where Nova on Kings Row and now also on Route 66 were able to stabilize. Not quite enough to stop Hong Kong Attitude up permanently. Hong Kong Attitude were able to finish off the map. This time, though, it was in overtime, so that has been an improvement on Nova's end, but even so, not enough of an improvement to stop Hong Kong Attitude up altogether. And now, if we do see a repeat of Kings Row...
This will be the pulse bomb.
Yeah, by the way, if we see that repeat of Kings Row, it looks like Hong Kong Attitude winning. So, Nova, they need to set an incredible pace here.
Shylin making the game-winning play.
As per usual.
We'll see if Nova...
He calls it Tuesday. I mean, it's Saturday, but...
He calls it Saturday.
I guess
Saturday. We'll recon.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what he calls it. Maybe he does call it Tuesday. Maybe.
Calls it Stephen King's Dark Tower. Nova Esports, so we'll see if anyone can be that same clutch player with the game-winning plays. And I gotta say, Blue has been doing... And I will say one Zoomfist when it comes out has been an X-Factor. Blue on the Widowmaker has been having a much better time, at least during the early stages, than Macau onto the Widowmaker. So if some of that can continue here, and Blue can shut down Macau again, this will be the beginning of Nova Esports rampage through Route 66.
I want to see Hong Kong Attitude slow the cart right down, though. So it's on them to just stop Nova. Don't let them get momentum, and ideally play the cart itself. Don't do what Nova allowed them to do. Don't let Nova just get free push.
That's exactly it, because it buys you a lot of opportunities. If you can slow the cart down as much as possible, even if you lose fights, you earn yourself an extra defensive play. Then that could be the difference between holding or not. And currently, the cart does stay still as OWO gets picked down. Look at the Hong Kong Attitude members all over that business. Yeah, even though they traded with a Ting. Oh, good catch on CQB. That actually does throw a spanner in the works now. That's a later kill. 10-10 as well might get demeched here. No, he's going to be able to pull back. But Mango, no, he doesn't. Mango is solo healing and not enough. And now Nova with the respawns. They've got a big window. Well, this is going to force Hong Kong Attitude. Oh, that is embarrassing. That's a deflect as well. That is such great play out of Shining. The exact kind of play the Hong Kong Attitude now need to stabilize because they are waiting for CQB. They do have to respect the respawners of Nova Esports just a little bit. CQB now returning into the fight. Cart does get a little bit of distance because Hong Kong Attitude had to pull back slightly. But control has been regained. Order is restored on the defense, and Nova and now Nova in another difficult position where less time is available for them, and they realistically do not have enough distance to play with just yet. Oh, Blue does keep a lid on Macau once again. Will be a res. Yeah, will be res, exactly. Charlene goes in with the Dragon Blade, looking for the squishies, finds OWO, finds Blue. Nexus is just a bonus that his team is going to pick up alongside it. Buy one, get one free. Shailin doesn't even go down for his trouble. Nova getting no headway here. And I lied, there was no res onto Macau, but who cares? Shailin got the blade out. He got all the kills. Macau rejoins the fight anyway. And CQB gets that one extra res to now use in this fight, should he need it. Less than 2 minutes now remaining. Nova Esports need some ultimates into the bank. They're getting close. The infra site will help. It'll help a little. He needs to not get headshots. They need all the help they can get. They need every little ounce of help. They need a voucher. They need a one help, card. Cash this one in. Expiry date, 1 minute and 37 seconds. It's like getting paid in exposure, you know? Can I buy food with this? Hong Kong Attitude though, that's already the Transcendence used. OWO did match with his own. It does seem Nova getting more positioning with their Transcendence. One out with the Pulse Bomb, doesn't really get much for it. 10-10's got a self-destruct that he can use to reset the mech. All ultimates are effectively even. It's kind of feeling like unless kills come in soon, it'll be the Dragon Blade that swings it, but they might not even need that, because with OWO down, Mango Jai barely staying alive by the fraction of a hair. And Hong Kong Attitude again just staying stable for the time being. Oh, Shailin down with the Dragon Blade. That's an opening. Shailin not so lucky and in a position where CQB is going to struggle to resurrect him as well. If an opening does present himself, he should probably go for it. The blade could be the game changer here. But so far, Hong Kong Attitude is just dropping members and no trades yet. Hong Kong Attitude just, yeah, kind of forced back on that one. But they get a chance at another defense here, and they're going to take it. Dragon Blade straight in, no hesitation. Oh yeah, they're going to take it. Crazies and OWO, the resets are there. He knows his prime targets. Doesn't need to get any more than that. The damage has been done. Even Shiki out of the mech. Not going to be able to reset it either with the self-destruct. And he really doesn't want to have to reset it in base. Wants to be able to take a dive off the edge. At least died to a Ting's hand. They've got 18 seconds. We're now starting to look like this is Hong Kong Attitude on Anubis A attack, especially in that time bank period. In fact, only in the time bank period. Nova have some ultimates. In fact, they have ultimate advantage. Kant is in a winnable position. One fight win will be a full cap out on A. They got to get there. They got to take the steps. And a few kills too many for Hong Kong Attitude, like the one on OWO that kicks off this fight. Could just seal it. Blue trades one back. Big one on CQB as he was mid-Valkyrie. 10-10, nothing with the self-destruct. One dies to Mango Jai. Crazy's down. Shailin does get picked. Crucial again. But Hong Kong Attitude, they have all the advantage. Mango Jai does go down. But unless Nova can keep members on this point, that close to respawn won't do anything for them as the hold completes. And look at the stark contrast there between these two teams. On King's Row in that time bank, then again on Route 66, how far Hong Kong Attitude get compared with how little distance Nova got. It means that you can safely say Temple of Anubis was the fluke. Temple of Anubis was the anomaly where Hong Kong Attitude made no headway whatsoever in the time bank, because this
is the level that Hong Kong Attitude can reach.
And by the way, just in that play of the game, the fact that Shailin actually got stunned up as he threw out the pulse bomb and then collected 2 kills. Really, that's extra impressive. But I do agree with you, Temple of Anubis is the outlier here, not just for this match, which does end in a 3-1 victory for Hong Kong Attitude, but even looking back to CAG versus AVRL Esports, it's Temple of Anubis. It was the one map that both of the teams that were underdogs were able to get from the team that were expected to win. But as expected to win as they were, Hong Kong Attitude and CAG now both collect those victories, 3-1, and will both be now equal in standings in first place.
And hey, you'll take it. Look, it may be tied when it could have been unequivocal first, but Hong Kong Attitude, they'll take it. It's still, excuse the pun, it's a first for them, right? It's their first. They've never been in that position before. They've still got their toughest matches ahead. Let's not beat about the bush with that. They've won 2 good games, but they've still got to come up against CAG. They've still got to come up against Blank. And when you compare that with the team they are tied for first with, CAG, who've already beaten Blank, you do still expect that unless Hong Kong Attitude perform really well in those 2 matches, they'll probably end up finishing below CAG somewhere. Whether that's below Blank or above Blank is what's still to be revealed. But certainly Hong Kong Attitude are moving in that direction.
We could also see a 3-way tie if CAG dropped the Hong Kong Attitude as well. Blank then beat Hong Kong Attitude. A lot could still happen in this group, but you're definitely right. CAG in a winning position. They could very realistically take out first place in Group B. And things are starting to shape up quite nicely here. We are getting a very clear indication of who those top 3 teams are. And I believe by the end of today, it should be the 3 that we've listed. Blank will be in 3rd, Hong Kong Attitude and Cyclops Athlete Gaming tied for 1st, and everyone else kind of sharing 4th, 5th, and 6th. And that's kind of not a comfortable place to be in. You don't want to be number 5 or 6, obviously, because you will get relegated to trials, but even coming 4th means going up against one of the top Korean teams on the opposite side, so things do not get easy.
And what it does mean as well is for those teams that have already taken 2 losses, starts to get a little bit more dire if you do still want to eke into that top 4, but still plenty of competition to go.
Plenty of more competition, 1 more match remaining for week 2 and day 4. It's going to be Machi versus Mega. We're going back to Group B, happening after the break. Until then, though, we'll see you there.